Welcome to In My Head Adventures. Today is going to be a special episode where I become vulnerable with certain things in my life. So I hope that you stay tuned and watch. Let's go right into it.
Or okay, there we go.
So don't worry. So all right, welcome, Brother Lance, Mr. Lance, Dr. Lance, to In Your Head Adventures with myself, LJ.
Yeah.
This is a special edition that's coming from the heart. So no further ado, I'll allow you to introduce yourself and we'll go further with regards to what this particular episode is going to be about.
Okay. All right, thanks, my brother, for the opportunity to share this experience with you. I am Lance Archer. I am a mental health clinician. So that means I do a lot of psychological assessments and treatment for a broad range of psychological disorders. I work with children and adults. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. And this is the episode, my first episode, called Growing with Serene. My dear brother here will be asking me some kind of random questions to share, I guess for lack of better words, my testimony on this particular journey with my daughter. So I hand it right back over to you, brother.
Right. Thanks, man. I think that first it would be good to start by telling us a little bit about Serenity. Tell me her age. Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. So okay, my bad. I'm messing up your recording, man.
No, don't worry about it. This is life. This is life.
Right.
Yeah, this is life.
I think what I like is for you to just tell me her age and tell me like maybe one word to describe her personality.
My daughter right now is the age of 6.
Yeah.
And if I was to honestly describe my daughter's Serenity, she is her name. She is peace. She is, her presence is very calming.
Yeah.
Those guys might sound like an oxymoron when I explain her personality, but once you start understanding who she is, she's a very calming individual and has a lot that I'm seeing to offer, though there is struggles in this particular journey, which to the questions I'll go further in.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that she embodies peace and calmness, and that's one thing that you appreciate about her.
Oh man, she does, yes.
Yeah. You were sharing with me that she was diagnosed with a rare medical condition called activity-dependent neuroprotective protein. And to a lot of folks who might be listening to this, we are scratching our heads trying to understand what in the world does this mean. Yes. Tell us, what is your understanding of ADNP?
So it is a mutation in one of the DNAs, a neurological mutation in the DNA that causes her to receive information slower than the average child. So a lot of work that parents would have to do in teaching them is utilizing government help, for lack of better words, government assistance to a certain degree, to find the proper tools to further her education,
Right.
and how to navigate that as parents, her to navigate what she's going through as the individual going through it, and how the world to navigate it through gathering information, for lack of better words. Yeah, so yeah, and a handful, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I
I'm making
appreciate that.
sense. Yeah, hopefully I'm making sense.
Yeah, it's making sense to me. So it sounds like there's this delay that we can expect in her development compared to other kids her age. And I really love how fitting the title of this podcast is Growing with Serenity, because it suggests that you two, never having to parent a child with a medical condition before, it sounds like this is an opportunity for you to grow as well. So tell us a little bit about what were some of the initial signs and symptoms that you observed.
So for me, she was doing what she was supposed to in the first couple of months.
Okay.
Then there was a switch. The first switch was so she became, she was able to focus both her eyes on an object. Then one day her eyes literally switched from to being cross-eyed, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what that was, but that was the first sign in essence, like what's going on, type of, alarms going off as a parent, like, she was what kids tend to do at a baby stage is they babble. She was babbling. I remember one time she was saying dada, whatever the case, and then she just stopped talking. Literally stopped talking, and we're like, we couldn't put our fingers on it because the doctors keep saying that it's just, each child is different. They go through their thing, and you try to be hopeful because, again, as parents, we have a son, Noah, who was our firstborn child, that went through certain milestones that we were trying to, I guess, compare to, lack of better words, and she wasn't hitting she was hitting at the beginning, and then she was like regressing, it felt, at that point. So that was the first sign, but we couldn't pinpoint it to what it was.
Right. So I imagine that must have been a really scary and uncertain time for you and your wife, trying to navigate what would have caused this regression in her development. Tell me a little bit about what it was like navigating the medical process of getting her assessed and getting clarity around what's been going on.
So I'm blessed to have the wife that I have. She did a lot of work. Not saying I didn't do my due diligence too, but looking at those particular milestones that she didn't hit, I think we got, the first step was we got, sorry, actually, what had happened where we found out, to backtrack before I even go to this particular point, she was gaining weight. We went to a pediatrician, and this particular pediatrician, I don't want to put the blame game on him. My wife was doing her due diligence, like, yo, something is wrong. She's not hitting certain type of stuff. The doctors, trying to be hopeful, to give hope to parents and stuff, keep saying that, all child is different and stuff, in essence. Anyway, so fast forward this particular story, that same particular doctor was saying that when my wife was saying something is wrong, called what do you call them? Children's Aid, almost.
Yeah.
So Children's Aid came to our house, and then we had to go to the hospital because they were scared that she could possibly, they use fair words, but like die or something in that sense, right? Because she lost a ton amount, she lost a lot of weight. She wasn't eating the way that she's supposed to eat and stuff like that. So a lot of complications came. Anyways, fast forward, and I was in the hospital with my daughter for a long period of time, a couple months, I want to say, trying to figure out what was going on. She wouldn't eat certain like foods. She was very picky with foods. They had to put her on a feeding tube to make her gain weight.
Right.
Even further fast forwarding. So we got I think occupational therapist. That was the first step. And then the occupational therapist further got us to be connected with a company, which I won't say on this because I don't want to pinpoint where we are, but that deals with special needs in essence, right? So it's a community or a schooling that deals with people that have special needs. Then she later got diagnosed with autism, which then we were able to get the help that was needed for her. So like speech therapy. I don't know why I'm forgetting the one with the people who do the
physiotherapy.
We call it physiotherapy. A physiotherapist.
Right. Okay.
And there's another one, but I can't, for some reason my brain is not working for that. But so go ahead.
Yeah. I'm hearing that over the years, we've been able to tap into a lot of support for her from physical therapy, occupational therapy. By virtue of just having this diagnosis, she's been able to get some support she needed. And it sounds like you're offering praise to Chelsea for being so proactive and mindful and advocating for her. Now that we've grown with her to the age of 6, tell me about how her diagnosis has shaped your perspective on life.
So, at first, I'll be honest, I wouldn't say grim, but it was like the alarm sounding like, man, life is gonna be so, if life is gonna be hard. In the back of your mind, you're like, life is gonna be hard, because to navigate through an autistic child, you hear it. Sometimes you're in school, you might see it, but now that you're going through it, it's your perspective shifts. You know that it's going to be different, but you don't know how it's going to be different. So at first it was, I wouldn't say like, why me, but I would say in that facet, like what did I do wrong? Was I eating the right foods? You start putting like certain blame games on yourself, like, man, maybe I don't know, we should have waited the gap between our children. Maybe we should have waited 2 more years. I don't know. You start putting some unrealistic expectations that things happen, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But it later grew once your child is diagnosed with certain type of things. What happens to some parents is that you go into this researching frenzy. You try to figure out, I know for me, I was looking at angles of parents who have gone through it, listen to their testimonials, gone through watching videos with what ifs. So like, what if they can't walk? What are different alternatives that I can use to, wheelchair or help, for lack of better words, like people that help, PSWs, community places that they can go to, that can assist with help and stuff like that. But so essentially you go through all that you go through like I want to say detective, but researcher mode. You go to your research essentially.
Yeah.
And then the positive is that once things start coming to play, once we got her into the schooling and stuff in that sense, and then starting to see little milestones from not thinking that she's not able to walk to now she's walking, able to feed herself to a degree, like in certain aspects. She tells you to go to the washroom. It's like your worries is shifted, like in a good way. I would say it's shifted in a good way. Like, all right, we're starting to get it. We can do this. We can do this.
Yeah. There's more hope that comes up when you begin to see the progress she's making, for
progress, sure. Yeah. So
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, that is probably the epiphany. I could say for me, I would want to say for my wife too, because we have videos which I probably will share with her reaching certain milestones. And like once your child meets a certain milestone, it is I can't even express. I cried, to be honest. Like I'm a little bit about my back. I don't know if you can see, but I'm hiding it. Like the culture that I grew up with is very rough, very rough. In the sense of, no, man, don't cry, whatever the case may be. But I'll be honest, for my daughter, the things I've seen, it was tears of joy, to be honest, in the sense that, yo, we can do this. Like that's the feeling. So
yeah, and thinking about the initial shock and grief that you went through when you found out about the diagnosis and you saw the regression, and to now having this hope and belief that things are turning around, that will move anyone to tears for sure.
Man. Yeah.
And so if I may ask, what does that tell you about life? Having seen the progression, what does that tell you about life in general?
So my perspective is consistency, repetition. Our mind works based on patterns, even when, because as you can see here, I do music and stuff. But I wasn't able at the time to see music being related to my daughter when it comes to like patterns and stuff. So with my daughter being autistic and stuff, what I've seen is that if you keep consistently work on it, breakthroughs will happen. And it's not, it's doing the same thing in different ways. So if one way doesn't work, you try a different approach to that particular object. So like with walking, I was, come Serenity. Then I became the military dad, which kind of worked. I had to ease off. And then food was the biggest like motivator for my daughter. Loves food, man. Like loves food. I don't overfeed her. I watch her, but that is her motivator. I'll tell you that food is her motivator. She's like, food? All right, let's walk.
I love it.
Oh man, yeah.
Okay, so you found what worked for her, and you tapped into that, and you used that, and that speaks volume to just being persistent and consistent and just sticking to it. At a time when people are easily discouraged and want to throw in the towel, it sounds like a life lesson you take away from journeying with Serenity is you gotta persevere.
You gotta keep trying. Like it's easy. Life is hard, and I get it. Life is very, very hard. We all go through our trials. We're all trying to navigate life. That's the best way to probably and how we all my apologies. Our perspectives on life is all different. But if you don't give up and you always try, belief and hope is one of the best drivers. Man, I don't know why I swallowed. Spit. Oh man. Anyway, sorry.
It's all good.
It's the biggest driver if you actually have those things in you. Because even when you're going through what you may consider as a nitty-gritty, you'll be like, I have to push through. I have to push through. I have to push through. And for most, they push through.
Yeah. And good for you, man. Good for you for pushing through. And I also give credit to your wife because she too pushes through.
Trust.
So tell me then about a memorable moment. You talked about just seeing her hit those milestones and now she's walking. Tell me about what stands out as a memorable moment or achievement that has highlighted her growth and resilience despite the challenges of AD&P.
So I'm going to say two. I'm not going to say one. I'm going to say two for me.
Sure.
The first one was once we found out that she had like her neurological disorder. Because we never, again, sorry, going further with the AD&P, she was I want to say, around the ballpark, around the 8th or 11th individual in Canada to have what she had. So hearing that first, you're like, wow, like this is like really rare to be the only 11th person to be in Canada. So there was that particular obstacle too. And as we were learning about it, trying to find a community with that specific thing, it took a while to find that. I thank God for my wife for just persevering, just keep looking. There has to be something out there. So we found groups. But anyways, going to the question now. The first one was her feeding herself to eat food. That was something that seemed so small, but it took a while for her to do that.
Yeah.
Like, again, because we do comparisons, like what we're doing with her,
right.
in regards to our son. It took her, I want to say, around 2 years old. Well, most babies like 9 months where they, make mess and feed, but she wouldn't even. She just look at the food and not even picking up with her hands and stuff. That's it. The second one, which is huge for us, was her walking. The walking, we saw her crawling, like she's been crawling, so you're like, okay. She didn't walk until late, like 3 to 4 years old.
Okay.
Like 3 to 4 years. She was crawling for, I want to say like 1.5, maybe 2, to about, I want to say about 4.5 years old. So when she started walking and I saw her walking, I was like, oh my goodness. That was the biggest thing, because I would take I bless my daughter's heart, because I was like, I was like, we're going to do this. Like, I'm not, this is not going to be a crutch for you. I know you can do it. Take up the stairs, she like crawl up the stairs, like, I was like, you can do it, Serenity, you can do it. She'd be like, but baby's whine or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But I was like pushing her to do her thing. Also, she had a walker and stuff like that. So we're using the walker and stuff. And then after she's like, forget the walking and start walking. Even if it was 1, 2, 3 step, we're like, yes! Like, that was like one of the biggest milestones for us for that part, in the sense where we were definitely like grateful.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I think even typically developing kids, parents tend to get really excited when they see their kids walking. So I can just imagine what gratitude you felt, what excitement you had, what over how you were just overjoyed witnessing that. Nice, nice.
Yeah, man.
So then, what hopes and aspirations do you have for Serenity's future? Now that we are seeing her progressing, now that you have talked about hope has been confirmed, what do you hope for? What are your aspirations for her living with ADNP?
That she becomes self-sufficient in
Mhm.
the degree that she too understands what she's going through, um, and learns how to, the best way that she can, navigate through that, um, with understanding. I think for me,
Mm.
it is, yeah, the hope for her to understand and able to navigate. I say this because, again, as parents, as we do research, there's a show that I love watching. It's called, you should check it out if you've never checked it out. It's called Love on the Spectrum.
Mhm.
So, there's individuals, wide a range of, people on the spectrum that have their complications that they go through and their struggles, but they find love. Being a parent, you're hopeful, like, in a sense, like, even if she doesn't necessarily find love, you're just hopeful that we see these, so we like seeing these kids go through what they go through, and they do have like their particular challenges that they overcame,
Mhm.
and we're like,
Mhm. It's
I'm that's gonna be Serenity, you know what I mean? Like, that's gonna be
yeah.
Serenity in the sense that she overcame her challenges.
Mhm.
Another show, I love the show called Jubilee, where they talk to individuals. Is I remember, because my daughter is nonverbal too. She's not able to speak. Are you still able to see me? Hello? Pause. I'm pausing for a second. Can you hear me, Brother Lance? I can edit this. Okay. Pause this for a second. Okay, so the video just shut off. We're back again. Um, Going off of the last question again. Um, my hopes and aspirations for my daughter
Right.
is that she becomes an overcomer, regardless of her situation.
Mhm.
I see there's potential. Yeah, I'm just on a journey with her with high hopes, and just to, yeah, essentially just grow with her in it.
Right. Right.
Just
Yeah.
grow with her in it. So,
Yeah. I like what you said about being an overcomer, and she's already overcome so many challenges, right? And the fact that you'll be around to witness that, um, I feel like that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? So then, given that there is so much positivity around your aspirations and the things that she's gone through, what word of encouragement would you give to a parent who is having to navigate the journey of parenting a child with um, a rare condition?
that one is hard because I know that each parent has their different struggles.
Mhm.
Um, the only thing in my heart, I could say is not to give up. We live in a day and age that, there is so much information groups, communities, that individual that you can relate. You can get information that you can learn from and grow from. That would probably be the first advice I'll tell you. And if hope is one of the biggest drivers that helps an individual to overcome obstacles.
Yes.
One thing I always preach about is, like, if you change your perspective, you change your reality. And again, if you give up on your child, then I'm not saying that they won't overcome. It just makes it that much more harder for them. But if you're the biggest cheerleader of that child, like encouragement, move. I can't remember the exact motto, but basically move mountains. Like for a child, like when they see their parent comes at something that's important to them, or be there for them, it goes so far. So now that would be my two things I would say for an individual. Find community, whatever that looks like. Find, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's so much different resources. If you live in a community that has resources to help, then yeah, I would say, yeah, look for those essentially. So yeah, that'll be my biggest encouragement.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. I think even research suggests that having someone you can turn to for emotional support predicts family resilience in children with chronic illnesses. So you're right there when you encourage parents to seek out support and to just keep hope alive despite the challenges, because that's likely to get them very far, Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, thank you for interviewing me on this particular topic called Growing with Serene. I hope that it was enjoyable, as it was enjoyable for me to be asked these particular questions. And there will be more, probably more videos in actually showing her growth versus an interview format. May do this again, we don't know. But yeah, so this is LJ, Mr. Lance, and you're here live with In My Head Adventures. I'll see you next time. Easy breezy.
Nice.
You like your Cheetos, huh? You Serene, you like Cheetos? Can you clap for Mommy if you like Cheetos? Yes, you do. Good girl.
Keep going. Keep going. Good baby girl.
Hi, baby.
Look at you in your beautiful hair. Serenity, look. Serenity. Serene. Hey, how you doing, pretty lady? Yeah, look at you. Model that here, baby girl. Model that here.
She's like a grown-up kid.
Oh, yeah.